Last night I heard from someone in my extended family that they had lost their job. They work in the restaurant industry, and because it's being hit so hard right now, there's lots of layoffs. I spoke with a young man this morning who had gotten his time cut in half because he too works in the food industry. This is hitting us hard. I don't know if you saw the headline, but in the state of Colorado, unemployment requests grew by 1,600% week over week. And I have a feeling we're just getting started with this. A lot of us are dealing with the financial implications and the struggle that comes with what's going on. And when that happens, it can cause us to wonder what's going on. God, what are you doing here? Maybe there's even some anger or a lack of understanding. God, what are you doing? What is going on? Why aren't you doing what I thought you would do? Why am I losing my job? Why are we having these issues? Why is there people getting sick all around me, or even yourself? And I think Psalm 123 helps us understand this, because we need to rethink everything that we think about God. Because I think we get some things backwards in our theology. It says in Psalm 123 verse 1, I lift up my eyes to you who sit enthroned in heaven. To you who sit enthroned in heaven. I think we need to lift our eyes to see who God is and where He is. He's on a throne. He's in charge. He is sovereign, meaning He has power over everything. You know, the very first rule of theology I had a professor once tell me is that God is God and you are not. And that may be a hard thing to hear, but it's something we need to hear. The psalmist goes on in verse 2 to say, as the eyes of slaves look to the hand of their master, as the eyes of a female slave look to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes look to the Lord our God. It's interesting, though we don't have slaves in our culture, they did. They had slaves and they had servants, and these people would work for a master or mistress. And it says as they look to the hand, because a slave was expected when a master motioned like this, that the servant would need to be there at the beck and call of the master. Or if they pointed somewhere, they would know what to do, where to go. At a slight movement of the hand, they would act. What the psalmist is saying is that is how our relationship should be with God. However, we flip it on its head. See, we think we're God, that we're in charge, and that even if we wouldn't say it like this, that we should and control God. The other day, McKinley, my 3-year-old daughter, was watching Aladdin. And of course, we all know Aladdin, the old one, although the new one's great too, with Will Smith, but the old one with Robin Williams, that blue genie. I think a lot of us think of God as the blue genie in a bottle. That if we rub that lamp, then we should get God to do exactly what we say. But here's the thing, God is not a genie. He does not respond to our commands. God is in charge, not us. God is God and you are not. What we need to learn, as the psalmist is trying to teach us, is that we need to flip that on our head. And sometimes even these moments teach us that God is sovereign and we are His servants. And it's a hard mindset for some of us to have, because we're wondering, well, God, if you're in charge and if you're in control, if you have the power of this situation, why are you allowing it to happen? And I honestly can't say why. Sometimes we'll never figure out why God allowed something. We do need to know very clearly that God does not sin. He does not cause evil. But sometimes He does deliberately allow some hard things to happen in our lives. And that's a good thing. We know that He still is in charge, even if He did not cause it. It's not like us. It's not like our government. It's not like even our healthcare institutions that are scrambling right now to figure out how do we handle this novel outbreak of the COVID virus. Instead, God knew what was going to happen. He is in charge as it's happening, and He will help see us through. God is sovereign, and we are His servants. So He's not a genie in a bottle. But the thing is, that doesn't mean we just sit back and relax and say, well, if God's in charge, I don't have to take care, I can just wait it through. Because actually the psalmist teaches us that because God is sovereign and we are His servants, we can and should plead for Him to help us. It says we have our eyes to the hand of the Lord. Why? Till He shows us His mercy. And in verse 3, we're supposed to cry out. It says, have mercy on us, Lord. Have mercy on us. That word mercy is repeated 3 times because it's crying out to God, the sovereign God, to help us in our situation. And we need that. So I want to encourage you right now. Cry out to God for mercy for whatever you need. For mercy for other people, for those who are sick, for those who have lost their jobs, who are struggling financially. Cry out for mercy Cry out for mercy. Cry out for mercy, because God is sovereign and we are his servants.